Hey everybody, I welcome all of you to episode 1 of Alchemy. Now, in this video, I want to introduce you to a concept I like to call the empty vessel, with the aim to make you realize that who you have become in life has been greatly influenced by circumstance. Now, the chances are you have limiting beliefs because of the past that you've had, and this may be working against you. If we do not take the time out to recognize and eliminate these limiting beliefs, we will never be able to capitalize on our full potential. Now, I urge you to pay attention and keep an open mind as we move through this, because the concept that I'm about to introduce you to, it's slightly tricky and should ideally make you question everything you think you may know about the world. So yes, without any delay, let's begin, shall we? So let me tell you all a little bit about the origin of this concept. A friend of mine had come back from college after 8 or 9 months, and we were just talking about things. And at one point he said something along the lines of, if Elon Musk was in your shoes, he would probably become a millionaire in the next 2 or 3 years, even with the same opportunities, the same network, the same resources, everything same. Now, I'm not here to debate whether or not Elon Musk would become a millionaire had he been put in my shoes. But I certainly cannot deny the fact that he has a way greater chance of doing that than me or my friend. I came back home that day, and later that evening, I was just thinking about a lot of different things. A question popped in my head. Why would Elon Musk be able to do more than me, even with the same resources and the same opportunities? I scratched my head and I came to one conclusion. Elon Musk would be able to do more than me because he has a different perspective, which means he sees things differently, so he does things differently, and he gets different results. Now, naturally, the second question that popped up in my head was, why does Elon Musk have a different perspective? Or even better, why do people have different perspectives? You tell me, why do people have different perspectives? When I tried to find answers for this, everything shifted for me. Now, if you are forced to answer why people have different perspectives, you will come up with many answers. You will probably come up with a lot of answers. And valid ones that too. When I asked other people, they gave me responses like, because of their upbringing, because of their social circles, because of the way they've been treated, and all of this makes sense. However, if we do not dig deep, we will miss a very important observation. At one point in time, when a person is just born, no one has been exposed to any information. And this means that you, me, Elon Musk, and every other human being starts at the same place. The empty vessel is a representation of the human mind at the time of birth, with no information whatsoever. Now, moving forward, this video has been divided into 3 parts. In the first part, we will try and explore our knowledge base. The knowledge base which is unique to every single one of us. In the second part, we will try to deconstruct and understand how the formation of this knowledge base takes place. And in the third part, I will introduce you to something called the groundwork. And that, my friends, will be a surprise for all of you. So let's get started. First things first, let me get clear on what I mean by knowledge base. Now, in the simplest of words, it's basically everything you know. Think about this. At one point in time, you didn't know anything at all because you weren't exposed to any information. And now, you have a memory of a certain number of things. And this is unique to every single one of us. there is a wealth of information inside of you that you can draw from. Now, if you have been a physics student, you understand things like force equals mass times acceleration. If you are a computer programmer, you understand loops and arrays and all of the other stuff that comes along with it. If you are a literature student, you're probably familiar with the works of Shakespeare. Now, what your knowledge base also contains is what colored knife you have in your kitchen or where your washroom is at home. However, what your knowledge base also contains is what you think is the best career option in this day and age. And what this knowledge base also contains is the beliefs you have regarding what is possible for you and what is possible in this world. Based on these beliefs that you have in your knowledge base, you set goals for yourself. And based on these goals that you set for yourself, you structure your days and you live your life. For example, if your goal is to become a footballer, you structure your days in such a way that it allows you to train, allows you to eat good food, and get proper rest. Now, if your goal is to become a musician, you will obviously structure your days in a way which will help you prioritize your music lessons. So then, how important is this knowledge base that you possess? Now, to be brutally honest with you, your knowledge base is the most important thing in your life because you cannot think about things which have not entered your consciousness. And by this, I simply mean you cannot think about things which you are not aware of. What does this mean? Now, if I ask you to think about a pink giraffe, think about a pink giraffe for a while. Now think about Cristiano Ronaldo holding an iPhone. Easy? Now think about John O'Neill entering KFC. Now who is John O'Neill? You probably don't know, right? I just wanted to use this as an example, but there seems to be a person named John O'Neill. However, that's not important. What is important is you can only think about things which you know about. You could think about the pink giraffe because you know what pink looks like and you know what a giraffe looks like. You could think about Cristiano Ronaldo holding an iPhone because you know who Cristiano Ronaldo is and you've seen iPhones. However, you could not imagine John O'Neill walking into KFC because who is John O'Neill? Now this is something I want you to understand. Now the important observation is that we can only think about things for which we have reference points. The knowledge base that we all possess is extremely important. What you know shapes your belief system. Your beliefs drive your thoughts. Your thoughts drive your actions. Your actions produce the results and over time your destiny. Your knowledge base controls your destiny. Welcome to part 2 of this video. Here we will try and deconstruct and try to understand how the formation of this knowledge base that we just spoke about takes place. The empty vessel is a representation of the human mind at the time of birth with no information whatsoever. Now let us try with logic, nothing absurd, I just want you to be logical and think about this. What exactly happens to this empty vessel over time? So let us say this is your mind at the time of birth. It's empty at this moment. Now somewhere in the future you have your knowledge base. Now at some point in time along the way you picked up a language. You started taking part in conversations and you were exposed to various different kinds of information. Now the information that I'm talking about here does not just mean, I'm sorry for that, it does not just mean information from books or videos or anything of that sort. It is literally everything you've picked up along the way that has helped you create a version of the world inside of your head. And this includes conversations with your parents, the way your caretaker took care of you, the way your teachers spoke to you in school, all of it, all the trips you took, everything. The major influences can be broadly classified into 3 categories: the family, education and peer groups, and mass and social media. At one point in time, You did not know anything at all, and now you have a knowledge base. And this knowledge base is the product of everything that you've seen, heard, felt, and experienced in your life. Now, a lot of the information that helps in the formation of this knowledge base are things which we have no control over. We cannot choose our parents, we cannot choose our neighborhood, we cannot choose our upbringing. Some of us might have grown in households with loving parents. Some of us might have grown in households with abusive parents. Some of us might have seen abundance, while some of us might have seen scarcity. Some of us might have been labeled successes in school. Some of us might have been labeled failures. All of this has contributed to the knowledge base and ultimately our identity. Now, what does this mean? This means that by default, the most important thing that we have, the knowledge base that we possess, has been a product of unconscious information consumption. It has been left to chance and circumstance. We might have been influenced by the information that we've been fed with, regardless of whether it is beneficial or not. This means that the knowledge base we possess might be wrong, and ultimately the way we look at things might be wrong, and this may be working against us. Now, please try to understand what is happening here. At the time of birth, the human mind is empty. Now, we possess a knowledge base based on which we set goals and structure our days and our life. However, the important thing to take into consideration is that the formation of this knowledge base has been driven by unconscious information consumption. We haven't selected the information that we would like to consume. Now, what does all of this mean? Simply put, this means that our beliefs are not our beliefs. Our beliefs are the society's beliefs. See, most of us have been raised in a society where we are sent to schools at 3 years of age, and for 13 years straight, we are made to learn about subjects that we actually don't want to learn about. Now, because of this, we have to mingle with teachers, make friends, and all of the other things that come along with going to school. And because of this, all of us have had a lot of unconscious information consumption. That means that we've been fed information that we did not choose. Now, because of this, we might have limiting beliefs that we might not be aware of. Now, even before we start setting goals for ourselves, it is extremely important for us to identify these limiting beliefs and get rid of them. We must selectively consume information. We must select the information and consume it in order to craft our knowledge base so that we can understand the reality of the world. And the reality of the world is that regardless of where you are and what your past has been like, if you are willing to put in the time and effort, you can achieve all that you want in life. And that's the truth. Welcome to part 3 of this video. This is the part where I talk to you about the groundwork. Now see, as human beings, we have different beliefs about various different things. For example, we have beliefs about what is right and what is wrong. Let's say a person walks into a restaurant and talks rudely to the waiter. Now he does this because he thinks it's right for whatever reason it may be. No one does anything he doesn't believe to be right. That's one kind of belief. Now there could be beliefs regarding what means pain and what means pleasure. For example, a person who smokes does so because he finds it pleasurable for whatever reason again. For someone who doesn't smoke, it's because he attaches pain to it. That's the second kind of belief. Now the third kind of belief for all of us humans is beliefs regarding what is possible for us and what's possible in the world. And this is what I want to talk to you all about. As I mentioned earlier, the reality of the world is that regardless of who you are or how your life has been like up until this moment, if you are willing to put in the required amount of time and effort, you can achieve all of your goals and ambitions. Now, I know this to be true, not because I've achieved my share of goals and dreams and ambitions. I know this to be true because I've heard the stories of hundreds of people who have made it from rags to riches. I've heard stories of people who started from scratch and have gone on to build empires for themselves. I've heard about the stories of people who were heartbroken, abandoned, who hit rock bottom and have still made it to the top. See, I really want you to get this. You could think about the pink giraffe. Why? Because you know how the color pink looks like and you know what a giraffe looks like. You could think about Cristiano Ronaldo holding an iPhone because you know who Cristiano Ronaldo is and you've seen iPhones. However, you could not think about John O'Neill walking into KFC. Why? It's simply because you don't know who John O'Neill is. And that is to say that you do not have that reference point in your knowledge base. The point that I'm trying to make here is this. There have been people in the world who have gone through terrible things in life but have still gone on to live the life of their dreams. There have been people who have been bullied, broke, abandoned, and they still managed to go on and live extremely meaningful lives. We live in an era where we have access to all the information in the world. There's so much information that if we do nothing but consume information, we still won't have enough time. Now, we have access to the stories of these people. And if we learn about the stories of these people, our beliefs about what is possible in the world is going to change because we will have known the truth. And once our beliefs change, we set different goals. And once we set different goals, we do different things and over time become different people. However, what I want you to understand is that you are solely responsible for what you know. You have access to the stories of these people, but if you do not take the time out to learn and study the lives of these people because you're busy studying about what your school teacher or your college professor taught you, then I have nothing to say to you, honestly. No one, and I mean no one, cares about what you know or don't know. And this is to say that no one cares about the kinds of reference points you have inside of your knowledge base. See, a person can only teach you what he knows. I would love to teach you how to play the piano, but I cannot because I myself do not know how to play the piano. If you only learn from people you are compelled to learn from, whether it be your school teachers or your professors from college, and if these people do not have the reference points to make them understand the fact that the world is full of opportunities, then we'll never understand the truth. If we learn from people who have made it big from scratch, then we learn something of value. But as long as we learn only from people who have begun in mediocrity and end in mediocrity, being mediocre is what we'll learn, and that's a very sad thing. So let us draw some conclusions. The reference points which you have are a part of your knowledge base, and the knowledge base that you have is a product of unconscious information consumption, which means that your knowledge base has been highly influenced by the information that you have been fed with and not information that you've selected. Now, this clearly means that there may be things in the world which exist but we do not know about. And the one thing that I want to emphasize on is the endless possibilities that exist in the world. Now, what I'm trying to say is, if you are not dreaming big, or if you think that you cannot do big things in life, it is simply because you do not know enough about the stories of people who had their lives way more difficult than you currently do and have still gone on to do amazing things in life. That is to say that if you are not dreaming big, it's because you do not have the reference points that will inspire you to dream big and take massive action. This is why it's important for us to craft the knowledge base that we possess. Now, crafting one's knowledge base is not an easy thing. It's a very long game. It's a marathon. And that's a great thing because this means that no matter where you are in your journey of life, you can still come in first. You can still give in 100% at this game of life, but we must start somewhere. That's the only important part. you must start. So where exactly and how exactly do you need to start? I want to draw your attention to something which I like to call the groundwork. Now, if we can know anything that we want to know, what exactly should we know about so that we get rid of the limiting beliefs that we may have and understand what is actually possible in the world? The groundwork is a process of crafting your knowledge base by feeding our minds with carefully selected information, the kind of information that will give you a different version of yourself and the world, so that you get to learn about the inspiring stories of these people, get rid of something called possibility blindness, and be inspired to dream of an extraordinary life for yourself and go on to live a life on your own terms. We will discuss what the groundwork is in detail in the next video. Now, I really hope that you got something of value out of this video. If you have any question regarding any topic I spoke about, please let me know. I really want you to understand all of it. Now, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Any feedback would be highly appreciated. I would love to know about what you think I could improve upon, and I would love to hear about what you liked about the video. If you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you feel so compelled, do share it with the people you know. It would mean a lot to me. Until next time, my friends, take care.